should be our flag. Right? Instead of just our license plate. You need to hold that thing tight. It's all crumpled up.
But I was sending him encouragement to say,
I'm sorry?
I know, but I know you're going to say.
Oh. The shadow's not on. Very good. Very good.
Well, you know, it's difficult.
Seems like stuff's happening.
Yeah, but you do.
You have my backpack?
I'm going to move. Don't worry.
I'll get you in our shadows.
Thanks for all the support. Yes, it's long enough. You can definitely buy a fashion design and dress. Worth the wait.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Reporting it on the target.
Oh, I know. And they're like, took my Mexican food.
I may not stay on top. So, yeah, I got
I went to my
Hey, Scotty.
Hey, how are you?
It'll be a while. So I went to Michael's. They have t-shirts.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna make.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Right.
Michael's was out of fabric spray.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We can start it.
Yeah.
You liking me? It's wine. Okay. So it's not the honey after all, right? All right.
Thanks for getting the space for us.
Sure, I think I actually came through, but we're glad to have you.
I'm alive.
The emergency, I mean, I know it's not sexy, it's not like, we can't pass emergency.
Something coming up with her.
Yeah, I mean, first plane of it, I think it's trying to run stuff through.
Holding my arm up like this. Yeah.
All right. So are we supposed to say from DC to Palestine? Occupation is a crime?
Love it.
By the time we no sooner got into the, we were walking down the floor.
Sir, how are you feeling? Feeling better?
You never cover it?
We were walking down the
So you have to know what it is.
What about you?
I was going to say, my time I'm very happy to see you.
Yes, you're what we needed.
Well, we still got to get that councilman. Speaking to the lapel, right?
Everybody will get started in just a few minutes. We're waiting for one more of our speakers, and then we'll get started. Just a few minutes.
inside the belt that goes out.
Right. I know about the ball.
We'd like you to remember from DC to Palestine. Maybe it's a good idea to stop there.
I support the ceasefire. I support the humanitarian aid.
What is the, okay, so we're going to support it in the same word that you said.
It's been a disaster.
We need to stop funding.
Well, I hear you, but I mean, I think the immediate piece, if you want to stop the killing, is the ceasefire. Humanitarian aid. Those are the have to be
Good. I'll stay for the lobby day for
I haven't been accused of I've been accused of various things, but that's fine.
I feel like an AG one is pretty safe.
Yeah, I think that's right. But it looks like pressure in terms. I mean, you got soldiers saying, "Hey, I'm not gonna go in the next."
Yeah, but we're the ones who arm us. Without our arms, without us voting for the army of Israel, this would end tomorrow.
Well, I think they have a lot more weapons than you realize.
Well, they steal from our stash that we have.
If we stop sending them today, I think they can keep going.
I think if we told Israel today that we're no longer arming their forces.
I think we're a lot closer to actually getting a ceasefire and getting 380.
You know how many ceasefires have already been violated by Israel every single time? But now children are starving. Now babies are starving. They can't get formula. These are sins against our soul.
From my perspective, the main thing is the so if we're pushing for other things, we don't focus directly on that. People listen, opportunity to
Hamas said today they used every single hospital.
But I was talking about other 14 bill that Republicans are going on oversight. One of them is actually which is, I guess they're trying to we have leaders basically go to Congress to transmit every single law that the council passes right now.
It's a pretty good proposal.
And they have a bill that will allow us to electronic I guess what I'm saying is that,
And I wish you were
like the tier 1 every single bill is everything anti-disease. I'm actually going to read that one.
because we are at war with
Yes, I yes, that's good.
we are part and parcel of genocide.
I'm glad you're
We
joining
know
me.
decades of suffering by human people because of participation in the Holocaust and genocide.
I know that sometimes I know
All
right, no worries. I didn't take it. Just to confirm, it did not happen today, so it's okay.
No, but they come up.
I just got what I only get the information I get as I get it. So.
And I would say
Yeah, I mean, we're reaching out to
I'm going to go ahead and get started just because I know that
but they
you're
really
on
are
Reframing,
like,
and I'll
you know they're patrolling that section of the forest.
Okay.
you to take just curve around a little bit like this. Thank you. And we're going to go ahead and get started. And same for y'all. If you just want to curve around a little bit and give our speakers some love. And we're going to go ahead and get started. And I'll just be up here.
How was the meeting versus
Should I go here next, or are you going to do that?
You can just turn it back to me. Sound okay?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. And we're going to start by warming up a little bit. When D.C. is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When home rule is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When our communities are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
We rise up and fight back. That's right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Alex Dodds. I am proud to be one of the co-founders and the campaign director of Free DC. Can I hear it for Free DC? We are here today to call on Congress to take every action possible to end the occupation of D.C. by this fascist administration. D.C. communities, let me speak clearly, do not want this occupation. Is that right?
That's right.
We do not want to be disappeared in the middle of the night by anonymous masked agents.
That's right.
We do not want soldiers with assault rifles in our neighborhoods.
No.
We do not want our children to be profiled, harassed, and detained by militarized police. Is that right?
That's right.
And we do not want the police and prosecutors to violate our basic constitutional rights. This is not safety. What is happening in D.C. right now is not safety. No one who lives here and is part of our communities understands this as making us safer. We understand what is happening as dangerous. Congress, we need you to oppose this occupation too.
Yes.
Military forces should not be occupying the capital city.
That's right.
Trump's attempt to seize D.C. is a clear and urgent threat to our entire American democracy, including the governing power of Congress. To our allies in Congress, ignoring this occupation is dangerous, and we are here today to call on you to take action. We're going to hear today from some of our champions who are working on this issue, both in Congress and the people who are actually elected by D.C. residents, the 700,000 people who live in D.C. who do not have representation in Congress, but do have elected leadership who understand our priorities and values. We're going to hear from them today, and to start us off, I'm honored to introduce Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley and Congressman Glenn Ivey.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, another day. In the midst of a hostile government takeover, a hostile administration, one that is anti-freedom and anti-blackness on steroids.
Yes.
Come on.
Thank you all for being here today. I'm proud to join Free DC in solidarity. Let me be clear, everyone who calls DC home deserves representation and freedom. This city is home to scholars, to educators, to families, hardworking people. And for too long, they have been denied statehood and the rights and protections it affords. And in this moment, we see the current occupant of the White House, a man who once called for the lynching of the now exonerated Central Park Five. We see this man sending federal troops into this beautiful majority black city.
That's right.
Our DC residents are experiencing whiplash. One moment you've got the National Guard sitting around, looking bored, no clear mission, maybe picking up litter. And then on the next block, you've got tactical teams swooping in to handcuff and kidnap hardworking dads just trying to get to the job site or to get their child to school. When Trump uses these authoritarian tactics in DC, he is signaling and threatening his intent to bring them to communities across our country, including Boston, which I'm proud to represent, and Chicago, the city that raised me. Cities around the country are having to prepare for the unthinkable and unlawful. When the president threatens to send militarized forces into local communities who do not need or want this abuse of power. Let me say that again. No one wants this, Donald. This cruel, lawless administration only cares about power, retaliation, and punishment for those who don't bow down to their right-wing authoritarian agenda. But I'm also here because DC is personal to me. Even before serving as a congresswoman many years ago, I lived and worked in Chocolate City, and now my staff live and work here. My godchildren, 2 young black boys, live here, and they are afraid. Afraid to walk to school, afraid to go to their summer jobs, afraid because Donald Trump himself has said that young people like them were, quote, born to be criminals, unquote.
Shame.
It's no secret he's targeting our immigrant neighbors and black kids, specifically black boys. That is dangerous, that is dehumanizing, and that rhetoric, combined with military presence, is meant to keep communities living in fear, which makes everyone less safe. Communities that should be celebrating the beauty of DC, joining together for summer block parties, listening to go-go music, and finding joy in community. So let me make it plain. Donald Trump's militarization of DC has nothing to do with public safety and everything to do with terror and intimidation. Trump showed us who he was decades ago when he called for the death penalty against 5 black and brown boys accused of a crime they didn't commit. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. So we are here speaking up and fighting back. This extremist march toward authoritarianism is an attack on black and brown folks, a deliberate distraction from Donald Trump's broken promises to lower costs, make housing more affordable, and to protect working people. We cannot ignore the structural racism at the heart of this crisis. The more than 700,000 residents of Washington, D.C., who still don't have full representation in the federal government, working families that pay taxes, veterans that serve this country, people that contribute to our communities, but are denied the most basic democratic rights. This racist, rogue militarization ignores their voices and makes us all less safe. DC has the lowest crime rate in 30 years before this occupation, and even still, we know there is always work to do to make our cities more livable and safe, to make those investments to make people safer, to get at the root causes. But the policy solutions that actually fit the bill there are summer jobs programs, federal action to prevent gun violence, and policies that meet folks' basic needs like food and housing.
Yes.
This fight to free DC is a fight for justice, a fight for safety, a fight for our communities, and I'm proud to be in it with you. Free DC.
Free DC! Free DC!
And I call on
Free DC! Free DC!
my good colleague, Congressman Ivey.
Free DC! Free DC!
That's right.
Free DC! Free DC! Free DC! Free DC! Free DC! Free DC! Free DC!
Congressman Glenn Ivey.
Let's hear it for Ayanna Presley. Outstanding, outstanding. She's been doing fantastic work here in the Congress. Thank you to Free DC for being out here today and fighting this great fight. You know, it's kind of ironic. Here we are arguing about defeating the National Guard coming to Washington, but I can remember not that long ago on January 6th, when they were attacking this building, trying to break in, and did break in. 5 police officers died, hundreds of people were injured. They were running around. Remember they had a noose out here for Pence? Remember that? Broke in, said, hey, Nancy, where are you? Remember that?
Right.
They got convicted, 1,500 convictions. The first thing Trump does when he gets to office is pardon all of them, even the ones convicted of treason. Shame, 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 horrible. And this is the first time, by the way, that we have a convicted felon in the White House. 34 counts. Matter of fact, since the White House is public housing, he shouldn't even be allowed to live there. You know? Shouldn't even be allowed to live there. But he's living there, 34, and he's complaining about crime coming to D.C. He's the biggest criminal we've had in the White House ever. Ever, ever. So let's talk about fixing the crime issues here. We've got crime challenges. When I first became a prosecutor here in Washington, D.C., it was 1990. That was the height of the crack fight. 450 to 500 homicides per year was what was going on in D.C. They called it Dodge City. We fought against that. The leadership here in Washington, D.C., under home rule, turned that around. And now we got some of the lowest crime rates in the District of Columbia, certainly in 30 years. Right? That's a big thing, right? And you know why we've got it? It's not just police officers, it's intervention and prevention programs. DC's been one of the national leaders in demonstrating that enforcement alone is not enough. You don't want to wait until the shot's fired and the body hits the ground. You want to get intervention and prevention before the gun gets in that kid's hand, before he feels like he's got to use it, before somebody pushes them in the wrong direction. Let's see if we can reach out and move them back in the right direction. So what does Trump do with that? He looks at all these cities where crime's going down because they have these intervention and prevention programs. He cuts them at the Department of Justice. One of the first things he does is to cut the funding for those programs. And let's talk about guns. 79% of homicides are committed by guns. Did you heard him say anything about guns?
No.
So we got a bill in the House
Yeah, that's right.
to get rid of ghost guns. 180 Democrats have co-sponsored that bill. How many Republicans support that? 0. And I'm not even going to get to the assault weapons ban because, you know, they've been fighting that for 20 years. So if you really want to fight violence and crime in D.C., guns is the first place to start. It's the last place you want to go. Under the Biden administration, they had the Office of Gun Violence Prevention. Did outstanding work, in fact, helped to fund and coordinate these programs. It's the first thing Trump got rid of when he got to the White House. He said, that's got to go. So we know he's not serious about it. And one other piece, too, if you really believe we need more cops on the street, which should be a home rule decision made by the mayor and the council, why are you holding up that $1.1 billion of D.C.'s money? Give them the money that they have. Give them the money they earned. We shouldn't have it. We should give it back. Let them decide what to do with it. So we know it's a show. We know it's fake. I came down here. I've got 2 of my kids live in D.C. Well, they're not kids anymore. They're adults. And I'm a grandfather now. One of my grandkids live here in D.C. So I come down here in D.C. We go to the wharf, my wife and I. We're having dinner. We're sitting there talking to each other. And this group of camo guys, with the M4 assault weapons walking down the wharf. And we're sitting there, we were there maybe an hour and a half. We counted them up. It was between like 35 and 40 of these guys walking around on the wharf. And the first thing I thought about was, well, if you're really worried about crime, why are you here at the wharf? Number one. Number two, why are you carrying M4s? Because if you actually had to shoot somebody with it, the bullet would keep going. It's so powerful, the bullet would go right through. You want to talk about picking off innocent civilians who don't have anything to do with it? That's not the right weapon to have. One other piece on this, too. Excessive force is a problem we've had in the United States forever. So one of the things we've developed, force continuum, don't just go right to the gun, use other measures, pepper spray, tasers, whatever. These guys don't have that. All they have are the assault weapons and the Tech 9s. So it's either 0 or everything. We need to make sure that they understand we don't want these guys on the street. They're not trained to be on the street. They're not going to make a difference with law enforcement. They're not going to help address crime. In fact, they're making the problems worse. So I appreciate you all being here today. We got to make sure we keep fighting, not just on this issue, but for home rule overall. Not just on home rule, but making sure you get that $1.1 billion back. And make sure that we lead the charge here, because if we've got to win here to help win in Chicago, in Los Angeles, and Baltimore, and every city across the country, because we know what this plan is, right? We need to stop it here and do everything we can. So thanks so much. Keep up the great work. We're with you.
Well, as the members of Congress just made clear, if this administration and their allies wanted to take action on safety, not just for DC, but for people across the country, they could. They could make common sense gun changes. They could stop cutting education. They could stop cutting health care, but they're not. They're trying to control DC. And to talk about how that's impacting our communities, I'm proud to now introduce some of our elected leaders from here in the district. Representing Ward 4 in DC, Councilmember Janice Lewis-George. In Ward 5, Zachary Parker. In Ward 1, Brianne Nadeau. In Ward 6, Charles Allen. And at-large, Robert White.
So good to see you. Love you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you. When I say hands off, you say DC. Hands off. DC. Hands off. DC. Hands off. DC. Hands off. DC. Good morning. My name is Janice Lewis-George. I am a third-generation Washingtonian, proud to be from this city and proud to fight for this city with everything that I have as a Ward 4 council member. This city is a beautiful city. We welcome people. We are a sanctuary city, and we will remain a sanctuary city. We love every facet of our community. No matter your background, no matter your religion, we love you, we embrace you, and that is what has made and always will make DC a great city.
Yes.
I gotta tell you, what is happening on the ground as a leader right now is devastating to our community. It is devastating, it is unacceptable, it is cruel, and it has no place in this city or no place in this country. It is heartbreaking right now. Every morning, even this morning, I got a text message about federal agents being around our schools, in and around our schools. I want you to imagine being a young child, walking to school with your father, your mother, your grandmother. And I want you to imagine then you being swarmed with federal law enforcement, with people with masks on, with guns, coming around and taking your mother, taking your father, taking your grandparent. I want you to imagine you as a child and what that would feel like, look like, how that experience would impact you. And I want you to feel that and know that and understand that that is what is happening to our children in our community, to their parents, to their educators, to their families. The Republican Party is supposed to be a party of families, yet you are here destroying families here in the District of Columbia. That is what is happening. This is supposed to be a place of the American dream where you can earn a living and protect your families. On the ground right now, what I'm experiencing, neighbors calling, letting me know across the street where our child care workers who are taking care of our most precious children are being approached while caretaking for our children, being approached by ICE agents and federal agents with masks. Imagine the horror and fear for our vulnerable children. Imagine them being your children. Right. Imagine them being your children and your child care workers being approached and taken. That is what is happening in our community. I want you to imagine the people who are here earning a living, drivers who are dropping off food, keeping this country and city running. Right. I know you ordered some food in the last week or so. I want you to imagine that the person who dropped that food off is now swarmed. This is what we witnessed and have seen by unmarked vehicles, federal agents hopping out, demanding them get out the car and taking their cars away. That is what is happening in our neighborhoods and communities. The place of the American dream, you are killing it with your actions. Right. Yes. Right. That is what is happening in our neighborhoods and our communities. Families being destroyed, our neighbors being kidnapped, racial discrimination like we have seen like no other. Where is the Constitution? Where are our constitutional rights? Right. They are not being respected at all. Right. That is what is happening in our neighborhood and community. And not a single person should believe that this is okay in any way. This is the nation's capital. This is ground zero. And if we don't fight here, we are allowing this to spread across this country. This is not just as DC's fight. This is America's fight. Right. And we need all of you in it with us. That is the reality. That is what we are facing. It has been heartbreaking. It has been devastating. It has been gut-wrenching. But I can tell you, as a daughter of the district, the one thing about DC residents, we don't step down. We stand up and we fight back. And that is what we are going to continue to do. I'm so grateful for our partners in Congress for standing with us. Continue to fight with us. They have already said they are introducing about 15 legislations that will impact DC's autonomy. We are asking you all to stand with us in Congress, and we are grateful for you standing with us. If Trump wants to support the district, he could give us back our $1.1 billion. He could fund education. He can fund transportation and environment infrastructure projects that have been gutted. He can support our federal workers that he has gutted and taken out of their jobs. That is what he can do. But again, this is not about safety, right? We know that crime is down and trending down in the district. This is about control. This is about cruelty. This is about expanding a fascist dream across this country and breaking the democracy that we have all fought for. So my message is clear to everyone in Congress, in the House and the Senate, to every neighbor of this country. The District of Columbia is asking you to stand with us throughout this, because this is not our fight, this is America's fight. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything. And when I say free, you say DC. Free! DC! Free! DC! Free! DC! Thank you. God bless you.
We need our mayor to say these.
Good morning, DC. All right, that's a hard act to follow, but I am Councilmember Zachary Parker. I represent Ward 5 on the DC Council, and I stand here united with my fellow elected officials, our fearless congressional leaders, and Free DC. I'm proud to be here with you, and we need to be clear-eyed about what this moment represents. I've said from the beginning, we need to reframe this moment. It's not about crime, as we've already talked about. It's about power and control. It's about a wannabe authoritarian figure pushing the bounds of democracy. It's about protecting DC. It's about protecting home rule. It's about protecting our country. Home rule is not a privilege. It is a principle of democracy. So when we are standing out here, it is because we are fighting back. And I would just say, I know last week our mayor said we greatly appreciate the intrusion of federal officers. And respectfully, I reject that framing. Not only is it not accurate, it's dangerous. As we saw, our mayor's words were then paraded around the media and used by the White House to justify an intrusion on local democracies and cities across our country. I will say what is happening in Ward 5. We are seeing neighbors disappeared from the streets. We are seeing raids from ICE at Home Depot and our metro stations. We are seeing neighbors, black and brown folk, harassed on their porches, or young people harassed as they're trying to get to school. I don't greatly appreciate that. You don't greatly appreciate that. We don't greatly appreciate that. It's not only false, it's dangerous. That framing is dangerous. What we are seeing play out in this city, I believe, is a pretext for what this president wants to do across this country. We could look at other examples from Hungary and Turkey, and history tells us what happens when the Capitol falls, when people normalize military on our streets, when people are so fearful that they just continue to go along to get along. So I know we are all here because we are ready to fight. And so in the immediate sense, we are fighting so that there's an immediate withdrawal from troops from our city. We're fighting so there's an immediate end to this manufactured emergency. We're fighting for the $1.1 billion that DC is owed. We're fighting for home rule. But I want us to be clear that once we get to the other side, and we will get to the other side of this, one way or another, we are going to get to the other side of this, the fight will continue. Because this is bigger than DC, and this is even bigger than Donald Trump himself. We need to look at the economic and political systems that prop up a person like Donald Trump. Political systems like gerrymandering that allow elected officials across our country to choose their voters. Political systems that allow dark money to control the outcomes of our elections. Economic systems that say the rich get richer while the poor get poorer. Economic systems that allow for the greatest wealth transfer in modern history in the building behind us. That's not about Donald Trump. That's about who we are as a country right now. And so I am standing here in this moment united against this federal intrusion, but I am also standing with you for the fight in the decades to come. So when I say free, what is the chant? Free. Again, it's a hard act to follow. But when I say free, you say DC. Free. DC. Free. DC. Free. DC. Thank you.
Great job, Zachary. My name is Charles Allen. I'm the Ward 6 council member. You are in Ward 6 right now, and I am fired up and fighting back because what we are seeing happen on the streets of our city right now, it is unjust. Yes. It is unwelcome. Yes. It is unnecessary. Yes. It is unwarranted, yes. And it is downright un-American what we are seeing in our city. From day one, we said this actually wasn't about DC. This was about power and control by Trump, by his friends, across all of our country. And we are seeing that. This isn't just about DC because he's already said what he wants to do, and when we hear the guy say what he wants to do, believe him. He has said he wants to go into New York and into Chicago, into LA, Memphis. Now he said last night he wants to go to New Orleans. Are you seeing a trend of what he's doing? We are on the front lines. This is the front line, but every American should be paying attention. Every American should be fighting back. Everybody should be concerned about what they are seeing and the actions they have to take. I want to share a little bit about what's happening in Ward 6 on the ground. My colleagues have shared what's happening in their communities. The exact same thing is happening right here. Just a couple blocks away at Union Station. You may have seen. Last night, Amtrak, Federal Police, and National Guard decided that anybody that's a kid can't come into Union Station. They decided to post and close the doors of a public building to say kids can't come in. I've got a 14-year-old daughter. She doesn't carry ID on her, and they're checking IDs of kids. We are talking about young people who use our metro system, who use transit to get to school, and now they are afraid to even show up to school. Shameful. Lincoln Park, a few blocks away. On any given Friday night, you will find 500, 600, 700 neighbors just gathering as families, gathering in neighbors out in this space. What did we have last Friday night? 4 armed National Guards with assault rifles walking through, and what happened? Everybody went home. They're scaring people out of our public spaces and out of our communities. We are watching as they decide to chauffeur ICE agents to go tackle and take down and injure people that are just trying to earn a living. Our businesses, our local economy is suffering. Workers are afraid to show up to the job. People are afraid to go support their businesses. I haven't found a single business who's raised their hand and said, you know what, this has been great for me. Everybody is hurting. And maybe that's part of their plan, is to just hurt the district over and over and over again. They have fired thousands and thousands of my neighbors from their jobs. They are driving people away from businesses. They are hurting our business owners. They do not want National Guard standing in their doorway. Our businesses are hurting, our local economy is hurting. Our workers are hurting, our families are hurting, our students are hurting. So I am deeply grateful that Congresswoman Presley, Congressman Ivey were here because they've got our back. Several of us met yesterday with Leader Jeffries, and he committed he's got our back. We need everybody in Congress to understand what is at stake. This emergency, this made-up emergency has to end. The National Guard have got to go. Federal agents have got to go. And let the city get back to running the way that we do, with an accountable, elected mayor and council and attorney general who you get to hold accountable for their decisions, their actions, and their words. That's how we've made the progress over the last several years. That's how we will continue to make that happen. So, Zachary, I'm not going to mess it up. When I say free, you say DC. Free? DC! Free? DC! Free? DC! Thank you, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Ward 1 Councilmember Brianne Nadeau. As you know, Ward 1, thank you. Ward 1 is the heart of our immigrant community. Residents, businesses, visitors, and we are very proud of that. And because of that, we are being targeted and we are under siege. Every morning, I wake up to alerts from neighbors about sightings of ICE and other federal law enforcement in our community, and I continue getting those alerts all day and into the evening. In fact, I got another one while we were standing here just a moment ago. Let me say this. Here's what's going on with parents right now. Parents are getting up in the morning and getting ready for work. Parents are louder? Okay. Parents are getting up in the morning and getting ready for work. Then they're getting their kids ready for school. Then they're dropping their kids off, and then they're going on patrol. Thanks to organizations like Free DC, our parents are organized and they're protecting our community, and it is tremendous. But it shouldn't have to happen. The District of Columbia is better prepared than almost any jurisdiction to fight back against something like this because we constantly have to fight for our most basic rights, and it's not fair, but it's who we are and it's what we do every day. And we will not take this sitting down, no matter what our mayor says. Okay. Here's what I want to say to Congress, because my residents are scared. My business owners are afraid to speak up because they're worried what'll happen to their residents.
Our workers don't want to go to work, but they have to because who else is going to pay their bills? This is not a choice. Everybody has to live their lives here, but they're doing so at great risk. So my message is to Congress is you handle your business. And we'll handle ours. Because last I checked, we were pretty good at handling our business, and you all have some work to do. And I say to our allies in Congress, we need you to stand up, we need you to be bold, we need you to use the filibuster to keep us safe, because you're all we have right now in the federal government. So thank you to the Democrats who joined us today. Thank you to Free DC. Thank you to all my colleagues and all the residents who are standing up together. When I say free, you say DC. Free! DC! Free! DC!
Good morning, DC. I'm Councilmember Robert White. We are living through a pandemic of fear. It is not a freak accident of nature. This is intended. It is not unstoppable because we can stop it, but only if we are honest about what's happening. This is not a time to bury our heads in the sand. It's not a time to cower in fear. It's not a time to focus on the few things that we disagree about. It's time to talk about what's happening, to come together and say that saving our city and saving our democracy is more important than a couple of things that we can argue about tomorrow, because today we have got to save democracy in DC. Yes, sir. I was late this morning because I had to double back after getting a text about ICE agents swarming around an elementary school. I show up to see the assistant principal outside, teachers on the corner, and scared-looking parents dropping off their kids. I got a text yesterday from a teacher who asked me if it was normal that a father was being detained and his car was being taken as he was taking his daughter to school. A mother of a little brown girl told me earlier this week that on their way to a soccer game, her little brown girl had to ask Mom, why are these soldiers with guns standing outside the game? And I am raising two little black girls who know what is for them and what is not for them. They don't see these military units, they don't see these officers here to protect them because they are not here to protect them. They are here to catch them, to condemn them, to take away their rights that their forefathers and foremothers fought so hard for. They're here to push back democracy. They're here to tell them that they are less than so that other people can feel like they are more than. They are here to take our city, not to support safety, but to go against home rule. That is not the world and the reality that I'm going to leave my little girls or any of these children to. None of us thought that we would see a time like this, but this is the time that we are in. And at some point, the history will be written, and we're going to have to look at these children and say where we were on the side of that fight. We will have to justify what we did and did not do. So I'm not prepared to say that I capitulated. I'm not prepared to say that I cowered. I'm not prepared to say that I went along to get along. I'm prepared to say that I led the best way that I knew how. That I encourage our council and our Congress and our mayor and our attorney general to stand together, but not in fear, not in compliance, but against an authoritarian takeover of our city and our country. So we need our DC elected officials to stand united right now. But united is not united in fear and compliance. It is united against this travesty of democracy. We need our Congress to support us right now because it is clear the president has said he is doing this in Maryland, in New York, in California, now in Louisiana. So democracy will be stripped away everywhere, not just in DC. We just happen to be ground zero. That is why we must stop it now. That is why Congress must stand up now. last thing I'll say before I leave, other than give us our damn money back, is this. As Democrats have decided that we are going to stop bringing a pen and paper to a gunfight, and we've started to fight hard on the front lines, and these redistricting battles started in Texas, but it won't end there. This is a time, if ever there was, for D.C. statehood. Because we need senators and a voting member of Congress who is ready to protect our democracy and our city. In my dozens of meetings over the past couple weeks with congressional offices, they said we are now confused about where D.C. stands because of statements coming from the mayor's office. So I want to make it clear to them right now, we don't want this. Can we tell Congress we don't want this? We don't want this. One more time so they hear you. We don't want this. We don't want this. Thank you, D.C.
Yay. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor-elect White.
Thank you, council members. As you heard, our members of our DC Council, they are accountable to the people here. Unlike this administration, unlike Congress, our elected leaders who represent us know what DC communities need, and they are accountable and responsible for that. And we thank you for your leadership, each of you. Thank you. We also know that DC residents are not the only people in this story. There are people here right now who serve in the National Guard, who have jobs and families in their home states, but who have been sent on a fool's errand by this president to instill terror in our communities at the cost of their home communities, of their home states. Right. And to talk about that, I'm pleased to welcome Ariel McIntosh from About Face Veterans Against the War.
Face Veterans Against the War, and a proud Baltimorean. I'd like to first address the National Guard members currently deployed on the streets of Washington, D.C. Like many of you, I joined the military as a teen from a working class family, seeking stability and opportunity. I joined the military to serve my community and my country. I joined for a sense of purpose. But throughout my service, I found myself questioning the reasons behind the orders I was being given. Orders that didn't match my values or the force for good the Navy claimed to be. Orders that didn't seem to make any sense at all. I remember feeling so alone, so powerless, like I was a bad American for having doubts. It wasn't until I found About Face Veterans Against the War that I learned there is a whole community of veterans ready to support military service members questioning their mission. A community that knows exactly what it is like to be asked to compromise their own humanity for that mission. To the soldiers and airmen deployed on DC streets today, I need you to know that you are not alone. You have an entire community of veterans and active military standing alongside you, prepared to support you. You have rights, you have options, and you have a duty to stand up for what you know is right. You do not have to stand in silence while Trump orders you to police our most vulnerable communities. I know that this is not what you signed up to do. Let your humanity and your conscience guide you to what you know to be true, and know that we have your back. Now, to Congress. As veterans, we know firsthand the trauma and violence that comes with increased military presence in communities abroad and at home. We know that these National Guard mobilizations are not about protecting our cities, as Trump and other top military officials have claimed, but rather an attempt to instill fear in our neighbors and normalize a militarized authoritarian state. It is irresponsible and dangerous to put troops on our streets as a policing force, work they did not expect or train to do. Right. Congress, you have the power and the duty to stop this military invasion of DC. Soldiers that signed up for the National Guard expecting to help their communities through natural disasters are being ordered to work alongside DHS and ICE, work they did not sign up for, with organizations that terrorize their own communities back at home, just as they do here in DC. They face retaliation for doing the right thing, or a lifetime of moral injury if they engage in the inevitable violence that comes with armed soldiers patrolling our streets. Congress must intervene before it's too late. We've heard members of the National Guard lament, "I have no choice. This is what Trump ordered. It's out of our control." Members of Congress, you have the power to let these soldiers know they are not alone in their concern. As veterans, we call upon you to stand up in defense of our cities, our National Guard members, and the integrity of the country that you also volunteered to serve. Use the power bestowed upon you by the American people to do your job. Refuse to allow this unchecked military aggression and send these troops home now.
Thank you, Ariel. Free DC is not just here today to deliver these messages to the press and to our allies who are watching. We're here to deliver these messages directly to Congress. Our Free DC community is going to now make hundreds of office visits today to deliver letters and to deliver our demands directly to Congress. We're proud to do that in partnership with one of our members of our congressional delegation who does not have voting power in Congress, but who's been a wonderful advocate and ally in our fight to track the multiple dozens of attacks that this Congress has been levying against the District of Columbia. To talk a little bit about what we are asking for today as we visit members of Congress, I'm proud to introduce Shadow Senator Ankit Jain.
Thank you to Alex and everyone who's here today, and especially thank you to our council members for fighting for DC. So I want to talk about why we're here today and what we're going to be doing on Capitol Hill. This is the next phase in the national GOP's attack on Washington, D.C. Because it was never about crime. It was always about power and control and using D.C. as a testing ground for their far-right agenda across the country. And so they started with controlling enforcement of our laws. They're trying to make it so the president decides how our laws get enforced, what gets enforced in Washington, D.C. Now they are moving on to changing our laws entirely. You all might have heard, we've mentioned it, there are 14 bills that the Republicans are going to be running through the House Oversight Committee in the coming days to weeks. And I want to make it abundantly clear here today, as Councilmember White did as well, every single elected official in Washington, D.C. opposes these anti-DC bills. I just want to say it again, just so we're 100% clear. Every single elected official in Washington, D.C. opposes these anti-DC congressional bills. So what we're asking for today is for all of Congress, but especially congressional Democrats, to vote down every single one of these anti-DC bills. And not just out of charity for the people of D.C., but as a necessary act of protection for their own constituents. Because this is not stopping in Washington, D.C. If he succeeds in remaking D.C. in the president's image, they are coming for Chicago next. They're coming for Phoenix. They're coming for Detroit. They're coming for Philadelphia. They're coming for New York City. And so we need to stop them here before they can go on and remake this agenda in the rest of the country. And I just want to mention a few of these. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in Congress right now, but I just want to mention a few of them right now. So there is a bill that would unelect our elected attorney general and make that Trump's puppet. Make our attorney, and so we say no to that bill. There is a bill that would prohibit DC from passing emergency legislation. I know this sounds a little bit wonky, right? But it matters, because what happens is that every single law Washington, D.C. passes has to wait 30 legislative days to go into effect, unless it is emergency legislation. If they remove the council's ability to pass emergency legislation, we will not be able to govern the city. It's really that simple. You can imagine there's some sort of new crime spree happening, and we have to wait 35, 40 days for Congress to review that law for it to go into effect. We need the ability to pass laws immediately, just like any other jurisdiction in this country. And, that just once again highlights the need for DC statehood, because at the end of the day, this will never stop happening. We will never be free from these attacks until Washington, D.C. becomes the 51st state in this country. Because the only reason this can happen to us is because we're not a state and because we don't have the same rights that every other citizen of this country has. And so we pay taxes, we fight in the wars, we should have a voting representative in Congress, we should have 2 voting representatives in the Senate. And that's not a ridiculous demand, I don't think so. So what we're seeing here is the first step in an attempt to end home rule. You know, first they're going to unelect our attorney general, then they're going to come for the council, then they're going to come for the mayor, and then they're going to have just the president rule by fiat over DC. So we cannot allow these efforts to succeed. And what I want to make, the good news for us here in Washington, D.C., and really for everyone across the country, is that for any of these bills to pass, they have to surmount a filibuster in the Senate, which means that they need 60 votes from the U.S. senators, and there's only 53 Republican senators. So what I don't want to hear is a month from now, these bills have passed, and people are saying, the members of Congress are saying, well, Republicans did this to us. If these bills pass, it will be because congressional Democrats allowed them to pass. And so what we need for right now is for Congress to vote no on every single one of these anti-home rule bills. And so I'm gonna repurpose what we had right here. When I say vote, I want you to say no. Vote! No! Vote! No! Vote! No! Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Jane. All right, so we just heard from some incredible speakers, and I'll just bring us back to where we started. When D.C. is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When home rule is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. And when our communities are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. Thank you to all of our speakers who joined us here today, Congresswoman Presley, Congressman Ivey, our D.C. Council members, Ariel, and Senator Jane. The speakers who are up here today can be available now for some questions. But we'll end our formal program. Yes. All right. So we'll take 3 questions and then can go to just individual interviews. Yes.
Hi, Eva McKen with CNN. My question is for the council members. There seems to be an organic effort now with an organizing meeting tonight to recall Mayor Bowser. I'm wondering, is that an effort that you all support? And do you still support her leadership and how she has navigated this issue? If you could step to the mic and answer all the members of the council. Let's all go.
I haven't seen anything about what the first part of your question. The second part, I think that we've all said pretty clearly what we believe and what we think is the right direction for the district, and we are all accountable to the voters of the district. But we have said, I think, pretty much across the board, this is unwelcome, this is unnecessary, unwarranted, and we do not welcome it.
That's right. And so, but to answer my question, do you specifically support how the mayor has navigated this takeover?
I think that I'm not going to speak for my colleagues. I think that 2 things can be true at the same time. We can recognize that any mayor is going to be in a very difficult and unique position here in the district without statehood and without full representation. And I think you've also heard us say pretty loud and clear that we do not welcome this federal takeover, and we push back pretty strongly.
And you don't support a recall effort?
No. We'll take another question.
I do not support a recall effort. At this time, we need to be strong and we need to be united. This government needs to stand together, and that includes with our mayor. Home rule in the district is what we are fighting. That is all of our North Star. That is one thing that has been clear. The mayor has unequivocally said home rule is her North Star. It is my colleagues' North Star. We are trying and working our hardest to keep autonomy and to keep home rule, and we cannot do that divided. So while we may not have the same strategic ways to handle a situation, we are united in our aim and our goal of protecting the district and our autonomy and our residents. Thank you.
Beatrice Peterson, ABC News. Earlier in the week, Congressman J.B. Raskin said that he's trying to get support from Republicans, specifically libertarians and some people who may not agree with the ongoing federal surge. Have you guys had any inroads with Republicans? Have you guys reached out? Have you guys heard from any Republicans? Go ahead, Robert.
I've met with several Republican offices. Some it's been clear whatever the president says they're going to believe. But I believe there's still some Republicans who believe we shouldn't be taking money from national defense to put a guard in D.C. There are Republicans still who don't believe in a big federal government, so they should not like this increased presence in Washington, D.C. And there are some who just believe in the basic dignity of law and won't support. So I don't realistically suspect we will have a lot of Republicans, but I think there is still a few true Republicans left that will support us.
Thank you. Last question, Gary.
Some of you met with Representative Jeffries. Did he actually indicate that the Senate and that he would be helping to push the Senate to filibuster. As you said, you can't pass a bill unless people acquiesce. So did he actually indicate whether he will be trying to get his colleagues to support filibuster?
Not all of us were at that meeting, but for those of us that were, it was a really great meeting. We appreciate Leader Jeffries taking the time. It was a really great conversation. He committed that he is going to help whip votes to support DC, to push back on this, and he was going to be reaching out to his Senate colleagues. But we're not just relying on that. The council, the district across the board is also reaching out to senators to help carry that message forward. And as you heard, Free DC is making hundreds of visits today alone. So we're not going to leave any stone unturned, and we're going to continue to push on both House and Senate.
Further questions, you can follow up one-on-one. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good job.
Everybody.
All right, Free DC. Where are our marshals for today? Marshalling. Beautiful. Austin is here. We're going to help you all know where you are headed. Come on in, everybody's heading to office visits. And I'm going to grab the rest of our vests for you. Hang on one second. Thank you.
You said we're coming. I said it's all right. I'm fine.
My son wrote an editorial for school campus newspaper last fall.
I heard you on today's morning. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
I think so. I think it was like on Instagram. He was like,
Hey, Nancy. Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate it. I see these things come across.
I know. We have actual individuals. Are you going over? Yeah, I'm going to do some lobbying. Are you going in? I don't know. Maybe you look familiar. I knew I should have found you. I was actually going to reach out
Is there a way that we can have the information that can pass along to my interfaith partners that are doing stay good?
Well, can you give me, sorry, let me, because my staff runs my phone. Can you give me your information? I want to just get his information, and then if you just send me a text. Good to see you again. I didn't realize you were going to be here. Okay. Yeah, so then let me, why don't you just put it in? Put in your phone and your email, and then I'll email you, and if you just send me. Oh, okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, so then I'm gonna send you my email and my number, and just like send me an email and with that question, and then I can respond like, because there are some specifics. I mean, I just say like the main thing is vote no on all these crazy bills, but we can give you more specifics. Oh, targets, yeah. We can give you that. If you just send me an email. Let me see if we're gonna be I don't know. I think you should talk